Welcome back. Welcome back to the Kovacs Report. We've got a pretty big book to look at right now. In fact, probably DC's biggest book of the week. It is, of course, none other than DC K.O. #2 from Scott Snyder and Javi Fernández. Yes, this is the huge event which is sprawling through the DC mainline books, and of course touching on the Absolute line too. Yes, it is bringing it all together. Very, very interesting indeed. Scott Snyder is never one to do things small, and if you're reading his Absolute Batman, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. And DC K.O. is no different. It is absolutely crazy. So let's find out what issue 2 is all about. But before that, let me warn you, I am going to read it page by page, or rather take a look through it page by page. So there are going to be a ton of spoilers. So if you get a chance, hit like, and please do hit subscribe. If you want poorly made, honest comic book videos in your subscription feed every single week, then give it a little click. You will not get probably the highest quality video, but you will get honest opinions about these books that we love or hate. Moving on, let's remove that black frame and see what this cover looks like. We've got Lobo, Venomized. He has Bane's kit by the looks of it, and the rest of them have got weapons, bar those little statues who are obviously heroes who failed, have been relegated to the sides. What a cool cover. Really, really nice. So issue 2 starts off the same as issue 1. Around a board game. We've got Diana, who obviously is Wonder Woman, Lois Lane, Clark Kent, and Bruce Wayne, and having a little chat, like adults do when they got a little glass of wine in them and a board game to play. They're talking about what would they be without their powers? You know, what profession would you be? And you can't choose the current profession that you're in. So, of course, they go around the table. We get to Superman. And I think Superman is kind of the sort of the crux of this whole thing. This is what this series is all about. I think this is about pushing Superman to his sort of limits and seeing if he will cross boundaries he's never crossed before. That's what I think this is all about. It's becoming more and more evident as we get into this. So what is the question? What would Superman be if he wasn't Superman? Well, Bruce thinks he'd be the president. And of course, Clark says, no, that wouldn't be me. I don't have that in me. And they kind of get a little bit heated about it. But we come back to this conversation later on because we are thrust into the new place, the realm where the heroes went through a portal and arrived to play this crazy, crazy game and join the tournament. And it says, and so begins the next round. This round before us took 11 billion years to construct, but was carved inside a microscopic white hole where time moves like light. A blink and it exists, history and all. For the champions themselves, though, almost no time has passed between rounds. 32 of them made it through the first gauntlet. They have had no rest, no pause for contemplation. For them, there will only be the battle, as it should be. Then we hear this very ominous voice. Welcome, champions, to the second challenge. I speak as the Heart of Apocalypse, your game master. To become the King Omega in his new universe, Darkseid had to collect power from his kind, primordial beings, gods. Here, each of you must do the same, but from your own kind, your fellow champions. And then it explains that we have an array of weapons, 16 weapons and 32 contestants. It also explains that there is a graveyard of elder gods slayed by Darkseid, and those weapons are hidden within, and they have to go and get them. Those who get weapons move to the next round. The rest, well, they are off the game board. We get introduced to some cool weapons, right? We've got quite classic weapons. We've got Blue Beetle Scarab, God Killer Sword, Whirlagog, Atom's Belt, Mother's Box, Psycho Pirate's Medusa Mask, Thor's Hammer, Bane's Venom, Speed Force Ring, Power Rings, the Green Lantern Rings, Genie Pen, Claws of Horus, Soul Taker's Sword, Lasso of Truth, Cosmic Rod, and one mystery item. I wonder what that is. So, like I say, it's time to begin, and off they rush. Now, Superman flies after Lex Luthor. Does he think of himself? No. He wants to stop Lex Luthor getting a weapon because he believes that is the best, greater good thing to do, which is what Batman was referring to before. Because Superman always follows a certain type of logic, and Batman's saying sometimes you've got to change that logic. You need new math to work out the solution to it. But, you know, Clark Kent, he's the biggest Boy Scout. He does what he thinks right, and he tries to stop Lex Luthor. Now, we get quite a lot of chaos in this issue, right? Now, I think Scott Snyder's done it pretty well. And I'm sure that these sort of side battles between the other characters are maybe more explored in their solo books. But we get little sort of vignettes of people fighting, like Etrigan here and Wonder Woman. And we get everyone else. So I'm not going to go through all of them. As you can see, Joker gets the Atom's belt and he grows incredibly large. And again, there's lots and lots of these little mini battles, just little moments, people getting sort of swiped at the last second, people actually getting brutally stomped. But it's all about Superman and Lex. That's what this is all about. Now, Lex kind of gives Superman a bit of a scolding here. He says, see, when you put us all in the Phantom Zone, I expect it to be just a cage, because he tried to trap all the villains in this place so that they couldn't cause any havoc while they're away or maybe get into this tournament. He says, the thing is, you made it very therapeutic. A big old cosmic couch. Beautiful, actually. And as I was floating there, I had an epiphany. He says, you know, it's a good moment to be a kryptonite enthusiast. What with it so much more common these days. And he fires off all this kryptonite into him and he weakens Superman. Superman's in a lot of trouble. He says, I've expanded my collection. So he's got every type of kryptonite you could possibly imagine. And he wants to get Superman on his knees so he can't do anything powerless, so he can make him listen for once. So he says, here's my epiphany, Superman. I always thought I hated you because you did too much. You stopped humanity from realizing our potential by saving us from failure. But I was wrong. I get that now, because what I really hate for you, if I'm being truly honest with myself, is doing too little. So thank you for bringing me to the Phantom Zone. It was revelatory. I wanted you to feel what I felt, so I brought it to you. And he has this incredible sword made out of the Phantom Zone and chops Superman's hand clean off. He's made a blade from it. He said, when I arrived here in the heart of Apocalypse, it gave me a vision of what the universe could be like if I won, of everything remade in my image. I assume it did this for everyone. So what was your Superman? A better reality, far better, diseases cured, corrupt governments eradicated, a cultural and technological paradise. Am I right? But let me guess, your response to that vision was rejected. He says, your goal even now is to just put everything back the way it was. Now that's really interesting, because this is what Bruce is talking about, is that Superman is always going to do the greater good thing. Why not use this to make everything even better? But no, it's put it all back the way it was. That's the right thing to do. So this fight between the two of them is really, really, really cool. I really enjoyed it. I thought it was very interesting. And then we treat to some more of these fights. We see Bane. It's not Bane. We see Lobo get Bane's equipment, his Venom gear and Venom up, which I think is pretty damn cool. And I'll be honest, the starfish was really, really funny in this. Again, I'm not going to read what happens here. You've read the book or you'll pick it up. I thought that was cool. A bit of sort of light-hearted moment and kind of fucked up at the same time. We get all of these fights. The Joker's just a big badass in this as well. He's pretty damn cool. Oh, Zatanna looks cool, I've got to admit. I absolutely love Zatanna. I really want to see more of her. Anyway, back to the main course, which is Lex Luthor and him putting Superman down. Now, as you can see, Superman looks like he's a goner because all the weapons have now been collected. Superman didn't get one. Or did he? Because there was one hidden secret weapon. I wonder what that was. And here we go. Here he comes. He's back. So across the island, Clark senses the game coming to a close. They all do. He tries to stand, but the kryptonite shards Lex fired into his body won't let him. And of course, they try and help him, but it's not enough. But before he can even call Captain Atom's name, he feels it a rumbling, and he just knows Lex has won. Now, Lex got the one ring he wanted, and that ring was to have power over the dead. But they say, well, what use is that? What use is that? He says, we're on this planet, but we all forgotten there is dead there. And that is those huge, huge, huge elder gods. And he reanimates them. He reanimates them and they are ready to smash the heroes. And then we are back to that little conversation, which again, to paraphrase, is all about Bruce trying to convince Clark to sometimes do things a little differently. That not every single problem has the same solution to it. And this is exactly what kind of happens, or it's the beginning of it, because we jump back to the heart of Apocalypse with Luthor screaming, "It's over, Superman." And he says his hand throbs, his body is one long scream. He tries to figure out some new math, some way. And then suddenly the rules come back to him. Follow the example of Darkseid and you shall be rewarded. The example of Darkseid, who sacrificed not just his hand, but his life becomes something more. Clark thinks of the mystery item, one of the only things left unclaimed, and he grabs the kryptonite shard in his shoulder, and just before Lex brings the Elder God's foot down on his body, crushing it, Clark ends Superman. And then Lex thinks he's won, and he looks around with that little smirk on his face and says, "Who's the real Superman now, old friend?" And then we get this. I am Luthor, I'm Superman, and Superman is the mystery item, the Omega Sanction, the power of Darkseid himself. So Supes is really, really, really souped up. He says he decimates the Elder Gods, just as Darkseid did eons ago, and it feels good. He will stop them all. Luthor, Joker. And then just before he can get to Luthor, okay, and tell him that he's lost, the battle, the challenge is over. And we are on to the next channel with these new 16 contestants. Very, very interesting indeed. But there is more. Now, I did want more of the battles, but I think it's right that those battles between the 32 are sort of explored in the other books. Scott Snyder has put the best bits in here. You know, you've got a little taste of all the other fights, but you've got that main story really, really brilliant. But it is not over. Like I say, we've got this little epilogue bit here, and we're back. We're outside of the tournament where the Time Trapper and Booster Gold are chatting. This is where it all goes tipsy-turvy. Says the Watchtower. And he says, the fire pit burns bright with Omega energy as our champions get closer to the center. Soon we may have a new King Omega. There's hope. We just have to continue to hold the time barrier against Darkseid. And then Booster says, yes, unless we don't. And Time Trapper says, what do you mean, Booster? He goes, oh, Time Trapper, you've spent too much time with a Kryptonian. You've become soft in your old age. There's no need for a new King Omega. We already have ours. Me, Darkseid. And it's time I enter the arena. So Darkseid has been masquerading as Booster Gold, and he's now going to enter the tournament as well. Very, very interesting. Now, this was spoiled earlier on in some kind of news article, but it still took me by surprise. So I didn't expect it at the end of the issue. But all in all, this is really quite a brave event. I'm actually more impressed than I thought I'd be. I thought it would devolve, you know? I thought it would devolve into just these normal punch-ups being good guys and bad guys, but not. There's a really interesting sort of thread going through here. Superman, what would Superman do? How can he change? You know, will he change? Is he prepared to do what's necessary? And I think we're seeing that. We're seeing a very, very different Superman in this. And the way Lex is characterizing this is absolutely brilliant. The side battles, they really are just that. They are kind of like your sort of your little tasters. This is the main meal here, and it was really, really well done. The art's really nice. The fights were dynamic. There was lots of sort of, you know, suspense, lots of twists and turns. It really was pretty damn good. I had to read it twice to get to that because I wasn't in a great place when I read it the first time. And you know what? It's definitely worth reading twice. I think you get a lot more from it the second time around. But all in all, this was a really, really good second issue. And I'm really enjoying how this event is playing out. And it's got me hooked. So I'm going to review the rest of it. But there we go. There's not much more to say other than, well done, DC. You're doing an event right. Now, I know there's lots of other craziness to come. Lots of craziness to come, which might offset that. But right now, it's pretty damn strong. And I'm really glad I'm reading it. So there we go. Those are my thoughts. Let me know yours. Please, please do hit that subscribe button if you can and give the video a like. I'd really, really appreciate it. So until next time, read more comics and we will see you. We'll see you soon.